I like submarine movies, but I gotta be honest, this one didn't really do it for me. It was okay. I give it 3 stars, which is my rating for if you really like this kind of thing. If you want a couple of great submarine movie recommendations, I'll give them later in the video. I would give them now, but then maybe you wouldn't watch the video as long, and then this video might not rank as high in the algorithm, and then we'd both be sad, right? Well, I don't know why you'd be sad, but I might be sad. And neither of us wants that, right? Well, I don't even know if that's true. Sometimes a little sadness from a piece of video content is nice, right? Okay, sorry, I'm way in my head. Back to the review. The movie is Destination Tokyo, a 2-hour, 11-minute 1943 submarine war movie directed by Delmer Daves and starring Cary Grant and John Garfield. And yeah, it's not so good. It was produced during the height of World War II, so it's one of the many propaganda movies about our boys going over and whooping their boys. And so as I found with a lot of propagandistic movies, you can't really have a lot of real tension in it because part of the movie's mission is to encourage people in some way to sign up to be on a submarine. Now, even with the constraints of that, a lot of directors are able to sneak a lot of neat themes into war movies. I was looking forward to this one because Delmer Daves made Cowboy, which is an extremely fascinating look at the allure of being a trailhand in the Old West with a bunch of other guys, and how the outlaw and wild nature of it meant that you could form a lot of very freeing homoerotic and homosocial bonds with other men, and how that's kind of cool. So I was hoping that he was going to sneak some gay stuff in this submarine movie since it's a bunch of guys in a metal tube in the ocean. But it doesn't really have any of that, so it suffers. Well, it has a little of that.
It all boils down to a matter of thickness.
Back home, they used to call me Slim, sir.
Just kind of a straight up thing. And Delmer is so good at photographing the West and using crane shots, so the confines of the space mean that a lot of his visual skill is unfortunately a little bit tempered as well. Although he manages to sneak a tiny signature crane shot here, which is cool. In terms of strengths, the movie flows nicely and is kind of effortlessly charming. Hanging out with Cary Grant and John Garfield for 2 hours is never a waste of time. My favorite part of it was all the miniature work, which is really cool. Here are some cool sequences with great submarine miniatures that's reminiscent of early Godzilla stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. Side note, that's a key reason why I love practical effects instead of CGI and why I think they make movies just better. Because even when the movie isn't great, you're like, man, that looks cool. I wonder how they thought of that and how they did that, as opposed to just like, oh, they drew that on the computer. There's a sense of, damn, that must be a cool job to do with all this practical stuff. So yeah, if you want a submarine movie, this is kind of at the bottom of my little list. My favorite classical one is The Enemy Below, which has a fantastic and awesome score. Check this out.
Bridge, radar.
Love that. It's got Robert Mitchum and Kurt Jurgens, and it's really tense and has fantastic explosions, and it's a shockingly anti-war film despite it being sponsored by the US Navy. The Navy, I think, just wanted to show how cool depth charges are, so there's like 1,000 of them in the movie, and they're all huge explosions. Modern-wise, I would for sure go Crimson Tide, which is Tony Scott and Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, the guys who did Top Gun and Days of Thunder, so you know it's going to be gay as hell. And that movie is 2 alpha tops battling it out for control of the club being the submarine, and the tops being Denzel and Gene Hackman. So, love that movie. Thanks for watching. Got any sub-movie recommendations? I know I need to watch Das Boot for sure, so that'll be next probably.